Hey everybody, Sammy here at SFI Sports Cards, back with another video. Today is July 15th, and welcome to the Saturday morning starting lineup. We're not going to waste any time, we're going to jump right into it. This week's team has a career WAR of 413.3. We got 3 Hall of Famers, 3 times they've won MVP awards, 45 All-Star appearances, 3 World Series victories, 22 times they've won Gold Gloves, 9 times Silver Sluggers. We've got an All-Star MVP, 3 batting titles won, 4 Cy Youngs, and 4 ERA titles. So, leading it off from Santiago, Dominican Republic, signed in 1999, playing shortstop from the 2009 Upper Deck set, we have Jose Reyes. Shout out to Doug over at Decon's Cardboard, who is a Mets fan. And it's his birthday today. So happy birthday, Doug. He just released a video. So go over there after this and check it out. Show him some support. Reyes. An electric fan favorite, ignited the New York Mets offense. He would lead the National League in hits once, triples 4 times, and steals 3 times. He also won a batting title in 2011 at a .337 clip. Very engaging with the fans. He would actually teach fans Spanish when he went over to the stands. And he's known for his handshakes and celebrations in the dugout. He was often injured throughout his career, but Reyes, he was fun to watch at the top of that Mets lineup. He would also play for Toronto. I think he played a year in Colorado. Went back to the Mets. He also played in 3 World Baseball Classics for the Dominican Republic, including the 2013 team that went undefeated. So we have Reyes at the top of this lineup. Batting second from Swifton, Arkansas, signed in 1943, playing third base. From the 1956 Topps set, we have George Kell. Love this card. I bought this card for $7 at a flea market, and then got it graded. Kell attended Arkansas State University, where the baseball facility, Tomlinson Kell Stadium, is named after him. Kell would lead the American League in both hits and doubles twice in his career. He won a batting title in 1949 with a .343 average. In the field, Kell would lead the league in putouts twice, assists 4 times, double plays twice, fielding percentage 7 times. If there was a Gold Glove back then, he probably would have won several of them. Gold Gloves came about in 1957, which I think was Kell's last year. On June 2nd, 1950, Kell hit for the cycle. He would bat over 308 consecutive years in 9 total. And he holds the record for fewest strikeouts for a player who won the batting title. 13 times he struck out that year in 1949. I think he has a lower strikeout rate than Joe DiMaggio. After his playing career, he would call games for the Detroit Tigers for 37 years. He was inducted in the Hall of Fame in 1983. George Kell. Great hitter, great fielder. He's hitting second. Next, from San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican Republic, signed in 2001, playing second base. This is from the 2016 Gypsy Queen Blue Border set. We have Robinson Cano. Neat card. His career is basically forever marred by his involvement and suspension from baseball due to performance-enhancing drugs. Not once, but twice. His overall numbers as a second baseman are one of the greatest resumes in baseball history. He has the most hits for the decade of the 2010s of any player. In 2013, he was the MVP of the World Baseball Classic. He is only one of 4 players to ever win that tournament and a World Series. His long list of accomplishments include multiple All-Star games, Gold Gloves, Silver Sluggers. He was an All-Star MVP. During a 7-year stretch, Cano finished in the top 8 in MVP voting 6 times. In his first 12 years in the majors, he averaged .307, 23 home runs, 90 RBIs. So he was well on his way to Cooperstown, perhaps, if not for the unfortunate decisions he made. Repeatedly, I should say. But he is hitting third in this lineup. Great hitter. In the field, it just looked easy for him. He had a really strong arm. Turned the double play well. However, I don't ever remember him diving once. Watching all those Yankee games. But, great player. Robinson Cano. Batting cleanup from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, signed in 1945 out of the Negro National League, playing catcher. This is from the 2004 Donruss Elite Passing of the Torch set. Love this set. We have Roy Campanella. Beautiful card. I love this series. One of the greatest backstops ever to play. Campy was a 3-time MVP, the first black player to do so, win it 3 times, and the second black player to win the award after Jackie Robinson. He is acknowledged as being the 6th black player to play in the majors. He had an easy-going personality, showed respect for both black and white players at the time. Now, he did play 9 years with Jackie Robinson, and even though Campanella highly respected him, the two were not very close, to be honest. They did have their well-publicized disputes with one another. Mostly Robinson didn't believe Campanella carried that banner for his race as Jackie did. But as a player, I don't believe Campanella gets credit for his defense as much as his hitting. He was agile, graceful. He had a cannon for an arm. 5 years in a row, he led the National League in throwing out runners by a large margin. Throughout his career, the league average of throwing out runners was 42%, while Campanella threw out 57%. Inducted in the Hall of Fame in 1969, Campanella has the fewest amount of plate appearances for any Hall of Famer. That's not a pitcher. You know, being a catcher probably does have some influence on that. But here's the Campanella. Donruss Elite, Passing of the Torch, beautiful cards. I love searching for him. But he is hitting cleanup. Batting fifth from Atlanta, Georgia. Drafted in 1983 in the third round. Out of Brigham Young University, playing first base. This is from the 1986 Fleer Update set. We've got Wally Joyner. Shout out to Dylan at Double D Vintage Cards. He is a big Wally Joyner fan. I think it's his favorite player. A fan favorite in Anaheim. He was the first rookie to be voted in by the fans to start an All-Star game in 1986. That same season, Joyner broke up two ninth-inning no-hitters. One on June 16th, spoiling Charlie Huff's bid, and again on August 20th, doubling in the bottom of the ninth. Well, I don't know if it's the bottom of the ninth, but it was the ninth inning. Off the Tigers' Walt Terrell. He finished second in the Rookie of the Year voting to Jose Canseco. He went on to play 4 seasons each with the Royals and the Padres, where he went to the World Series in 1998. A terrific first baseman, Joyner led the American League in fielding percentage from 1989 to 95. And then again in the National League in 96 and 97. Now, something I didn't know. Joyner is a former Home Run Derby winner. He tied Darryl Strawberry in 1986 at Houston's Astrodome. It was not televised during that time. 93, I think, was the first time it was televised? But it started in either 84 or 85. On August 26, 1986, Joyner was involved in a knife-throwing incident at Yankee Stadium. Luckily, he only grazed. He was returning to the dugout between innings. You know, New York was a crazy place in the 80s, so unfortunately that incident happened. So, just a little tidbit that you might not have known about. But Joyner's hitting 5th. Hitting 6th from Joliet, Illinois. Drafted in 1977 in the 8th round out of Joliet Central High School, playing right field. This is from the 1987 Sports Flick set. We have Jesse Barfield. These are always, you know, Sport Flicks are odd cards. It's got the 2 images there. It's kind of hard to pick up on camera, but they're there. Impressive on both offense and defense. The free-swinging Barfield is a 2-time Gold Glove winner, and also led the American League in home runs in 1986. There it is on the bottom line. He hit 40. You know, his average wasn't bad as far as how many times he struck out, but definitely a threat at the plate. He would lead the American League in putouts from 1985 to 1987 and assists on 6 different occasions in right field. When his career ended, he would rank 2nd all-time for assists per 1,000 innings played to Chuck Klein. And I want to note that Chuck Klein played most of his career at the Baker Bowl, and that was only 280 feet down the right field line and 300 feet to right center power alley. So he definitely had a closer throw to make back then. Barfield also led right fielders in double plays 3 times. Baseball historian, writer, and statistician Bill James noted that Barfield, quote, by far had the best outfield arm in the 80s. You know, in my lifetime of watching baseball, he had the best arm I ever saw. He would often throw flat-footed and still gun guys out by a wide margin. You know, when you see guys throw, sometimes you see that high arcing throw on the fly. He would just throw lasers on a line. And he had a very accurate arm as well. So hitting 6, the rifled arm Jesse Barfield. Hitting 7th, from Louisville, Kentucky, drafted in 1982 in the 3rd round out of North Fort Myers High School in Florida. Playing left field. This is from the 1993 Leaf set. We got Mike Greenwell. And I just can't get away from these Red Sox players that I'm pulling randomly. But congrats to those fans out there. They get to see another Red Sox card. The next in line of great left fielders for the Red Sox, you know, with Ted Williams, Carl Yastrzemski, Jim Rice, all Hall of Famers, all MVPs. Greenwell was next in line. He played his entire 12-year career in Boston. He was the 1988 AL MVP runner-up to Jose Canseco. Greenwell was a consistent 300 hitter. He led the American League in assists for left fielders on 3 different occasions. I like these backs of this 93 set. I mean, the front's alright, but I do like the images on the back. They look good. On September 14th, 1988, Greenwell became the 17th Red Sox to hit for the cycle. And that same year, he set the single-season record for most game-winning RBIs in a season, 23. This stat has since been discontinued as a tracked stat. I remember seeing them on like backs of 88 cards all the time, game-winning RBIs. But they don't track it anymore. On September 2nd, 1996, in a 9-8 victory for Boston, Greenwell drove in all 9 runs. The most for a player driving in all the team's runs in history. He is a Red Sox Hall of Famer, inducted in the team's Hall of Fame in 2008. He got the nickname Gator, known for wrestling alligators in Florida. He once captured a gator, taped its mouth shut, and put it in teammate Ellis Burke's locker in spring training. Now, I don't know how true this story is, but I'm sure nowadays he would probably not go unscathed for this stunt. I'm sure he would get in quite a bit of trouble for doing that, but that's a story I read. So, 7th, got Greenwell. Now hitting 8th, from Matanzas, Cuba. Signing in 1960, playing center field. This is from the 1970 Topps set. We got Jose Cardenal. A beautiful, well-loved card. You know, I'm not too impressed by 1970 Topps. but I do love the backs. A second cousin of Oakland Athletics star Bert Campaneris, Cardinal was a blazing outfielder, most predominantly playing with the Cubs and the Angels and Indians. At only 5'10", 150 pounds, he was actually a power hitter coming up early in his career. As you can see here, he hit over 35 home runs twice in the minors. He was once compared, early on in his career to Willie Mays. I'm sure those comps didn't last too long. No knock on Cardinal, it's just we were talking about Willie Mays here. So, 1968, he did set a record, making 2 unassisted double plays in one season. He was known to be very temperamental. He once sat out of a Cubs home opener because he said one of his eyelids wouldn't close. That's got to be annoying, I would think. On August 2nd, 1979, he was purchased by the New York Mets from the Philadelphia Phillies during a twilight doubleheader. So he had to change uniforms and dugouts between games. I'm trying to think of who else that happened to. Maybe Joe Youngblood, I'm thinking of. I don't know. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments. Maybe Jay Johnstone. I'm not sure, but it did happen. I'm sure it happened more than a couple times. I remember Cardinal most as a first base coach with the Yankees during their late 90s run. But he was a speedy outfielder and also had a really strong arm. He had double-digit assists 11 times in his career. So we got Cardinal hitting 8th. And batting 9th from San Angelo, Texas. I feel I've said San Angelo, Texas multiple times during these lineup builds. Well, this man was drafted in 1984 in the second round out of Valley High School in Las Vegas. He's the pitcher, so he's hitting 9th. This is from the 1987 Fleer update set. We got none other than Greg Maddux. Now, I'm not going to go too in-depth because it's just too long of a list of what he accomplished. And many of you out there already know about Mad Dog. But I'll mention a couple things. First, I don't care what era, what decade, dead ball era, live ball era, steroid era, this guy is a top 5 pitcher all time. In one of the greatest offensive seasons ever, 1994, the strike year, Maddux had a 1.56 ERA, and then followed that up the next season with another sub-2 ERA season, 1.63. Now this is while leading the lead in innings pitched 5 years in a row, and total batters faced 4 years in a row. So this wasn't a guy that was just, pitch 6-7 innings and take him out. Relievers were becoming, specialists at this time. So complete games were down. But he still led the league in complete games 3 times and shutouts 5 times. He's one of the few pitchers that he'd get you out before he even stepped in the batter's box. While most people keyed in on watching flamethrowers and high strikeout guys, I always enjoyed watching Maddux dissect a batter, even more than those guys. He won 4 Cy Youngs in a row. 18 times won the Gold Glove Award and 4 ERA titles. Not sure why his cards aren't worth more. I still love collecting Maddux cards, and will probably continue to do so as long as I'm collecting. So there you have it, the Saturday morning starting lineup. There's multiple ways I could have constructed this lineup. What are your thoughts? I mean, could you have Joyner maybe hitting third? Maybe Greenwell up in the lineup higher? Let me know in the comments. But there you have it. Support the channel if you're new here. And thanks to my returning viewers. I always appreciate you guys. And I do reply to all your comments. So comment away. But that's it for now. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon. Be safe out there. And keep collecting out there. Take it easy.